Hello everyone and welcome to my B&B Fan Club channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The morning sun streamed through the silk curtains of the Forrester mansion, casting a golden glow over the huge estate, which had witnessed more drama than any soap opera could plot. Hope Logan stood in front of a full-length mirror in the bridal suite, her fingers quivering slightly as she adjusted the exquisite lace veil cascading down her back. The outfit was a work of art, ivory silk embracing her curves and embroidered with exquisite floral designs that represented new beginnings. However, beginnings felt delicate today, like a house of cards perched on the brink of a breeze. She inhaled deeply, attempting to calm her anxiety. This was her wedding day to Liam Spencer, the man she had loved despite numerous heartbreaks, betrayals and reconciliations. After everything, the back and forth with Steffi, the secrets, the losses, they had arrived. Or so she thought. The downstairs garden has been turned into a fairy tale paradise. White roses hung from trellises, fairy lights twinkled even in the daytime, and rows of beautiful seats awaited the who's who of Los Angeles fashion and family. The patriarch, Eric Forrester, observed the last touches with his usual grace, but his eyes were filled with concern. He'd conducted enough weddings in this family to know that things rarely went as planned. Quinn Fuller, his wife, shuffled around with a clipboard, yelling directions at the caterers. The champagne must be chilled to perfection. This is a Forrester-Logan union. Nothing less than exquisite. Liam walked in the groom's quarters, tugging on his tie. Wyatt Spencer, his half-brother and occasional rival, tapped him on the shoulder. Bro, relax. You've done this before. With Hope. With Steffi. Hell, you've got more practice than most guys have dates. Liam glared at him but managed a wan smile. Wyatt was right. This was not his first rodeo. But something felt odd. Final. Hope had vowed no more games and no more running. He believed her. Mostly. As visitors arrived, murmurs flowed through the gathering like a stream. Brooke Logan, Hope's mother, entered on Rich Forrester's arm. Her blonde hair swept up in a beautiful chignon. She beams with maternal pride, but her gaze darts uncomfortably toward the entryway. Rich, the designer, appreciated the setup. Eric outdid himself. This rivals our own weddings. Brooke nodded absently, her mind elsewhere. She'd heard rumors, snippets from Katie and cautions from Donna, but she dismissed them. Today was about joy. Steffi Forrester arrived late, as usual, in a black gown that stood out among the pastels of the bridal party. She was Liam's ex, the mother of his child, and a constant source of trouble. Heads turned as she walked in, her heels clicking authoritatively. Carter Walton, the COO and mutual acquaintance, gave her a hug. Steffi, you made it. She smirked. Wouldn't miss it for the world. Yet her gaze shifted to Liam, a mix of nostalgia and unresolved tension developing. The ceremony was scheduled to commence at noon. Hope's bridesmaids, Paris Buckingham, Ivy Forrester and a few others fussed over her cosmetics. You look stunning, Paris exclaimed. Hope smiled gratefully as her stomach churned. Last night, she had a dream about interruptions and secrets exploding like fireworks. She shook it off. Her paranoia stems from too many bold and the beautiful storyline twists in her personal life. Liam took his place at the altar with the pastor, a family friend, smiling benignly. The string quartet played a song, and the guests relaxed. The flower girls arrived first, with Hope's daughter Beth enthusiastically throwing petals. The bridesmaids come next. Finally, the music intensified for the bride. Brooke walked Hope down the aisle, her eyes shining. Hope fixed her gaze on Liam's, and the rest of the world faded away. He gazed at her as if she were his savior. They exchanged vows. Eloquent, impassioned promises of eternity. Liam slid the ring on her finger, his voice steady. With this ring I thee wed again and for always. Hope mimicked him, her words choked with emotion. The minister declared them husband and wife. You may kiss the bride. Liam leaned in, their lips meeting in a kiss that would end years of turmoil. The audience burst with applause. Confetti showered down. But as they turned to face their loved ones, silence fell. The gates to the back garden creaked open. A figure stood there, silhouetted against the sun. Gasps echoed. Hope's hand shot to her mouth. Liam froze. It was Thomas Forrester. But Thomas was meant to be in Paris, designing and recovering from his obsession with Hope. He had left months before, after another controversy, promising to mend. Yet there he stood, unkempt, wild-eyed, clutching a manila envelope. "Stop!" he exclaimed, cutting through the cheers. "This wedding can't happen." Security stepped in, but Eric raised his hand. "Let him speak. This is family." Thomas marched down the aisle, disregarding the murmurs. Steffi stood, mouth agape. "Thomas? What are you doing?" He approached the altar and thrust the envelope at Hope. "You need to see this before you commit to him forever." As Hope opened it, her hands shook. Inside are images, documents, and a USB drive. Her face turned pallid. Liam took one photo, a hazy image of himself in a hotel room with a woman who was not Hope. "This is photoshopped." "Thomas, what the hell?" Thomas shook his head. "No, Liam. It's real. And there's more." He turned to face the audience. "Everyone, Liam has been lying. Again. He's been seeing Sally Spectra behind Hope's back. For months. Does she exist? The red-headed designer who had repeatedly fought with the Forresters?" The audience reacted enthusiastically. Spectra had vanished following her last scheme, and it was assumed she was plotting in the shadows. Hope locked her gaze on Liam. "Is this true?" Liam's face wrinkled. "Hope, I can explain." "Explain!" Brooke yelled, racing forward. Ridge restrained her. Wyatt stepped up. "Thomas, why now? Why ruin this?" Thomas's eyes fixed on Hope, a spark of old wildness. "Because she deserves the truth. I came back because I couldn't let her make the same mistake. I love her." The confession hung in the air like smoke. Hope recoiled. "Thomas, we've been over this. You're like a brother to me, but—" "No," he shouted. "It's more. And Liam doesn't deserve you. Look at the USB. There's video." Carter took a laptop from the AV setup. The minister appeared frightened. Guests squirmed uncomfortably, some filming with phones and others muttering wagers on the outcome. The footage showed Liam and Sally in a dimly lit bar, laughing and kissing. Dates stamped are recent. Hope's world crumbled. Tears ran down her cheeks, spoiling her makeup. "Liam, how could you?" He stretched out for her. "It was a mistake. Stress from the wedding planning. Sally was there, comforting me about old times with Wyatt." He punched him. "Don't drag me into your mess." Chaos ensued. Steffi smirked inwardly, karma for all the times Liam had chosen Hope over her. But she felt sorry for Kelly, their daughter, who sat in the front row with big eyes. Eric said, "Enough. Inside now. All of you." The wedding party and essential participants filed into the mansion's big living room. Guests milled outdoors with the reception tent forgotten. Inside, accusations flew. Hope confronted Liam. "How many times? This is our wedding day." Liam knelt down. "Hope, please. It meant nothing. You're my wife now. We're not married yet in my heart if this is real," she told herself. Thomas lingered. "Hope, I came back for you. I have proof I've changed. Therapy, designs acclaimed in Paris. I can give you stability." Steffi looked at her with a grin. "Thomas, your change always comes with strings." Quinn, the ever-present pot stirrer, added. Brooke smacked Liam, saying, "Well, this is better than my jewelry line launch. You broke my daughter's heart again." Ridge drew her away. "Logan, violence is not the answer." However, the surprises did not end there. The door slammed open again. This time it's Sheila Carter. Yes, Sheila, the infamous villain presumed dead or imprisoned several times. She entered with fiery red hair and a psychotic grin. "Did I miss the vows? Oh wait, I hear there's drama." Finn, her son and Steffi's husband, stayed outside with the kids but ran inside when he heard. Sheila giggled as she asked, "Mom? How are you here?" "Prison breaks are my specialty. But I'm not here for trouble, well, not much. I heard about the wedding and couldn't resist. Plus, I have a gift." She threw a box at Hope. "Inside is a positive pregnancy test." "Not mine, dear. Sally's. She's carrying Liam's baby." The room swirled. Liam blanched. "What?" "No." Flashback. Months earlier, Liam, intoxicated from a disagreement with Hope about baby names, met Sally at a Spectra pop-up event. One night, forgotten in the cloud, Hope fell upon a chair. A baby? With Sally. Sally stood in the doorway, her stomach slightly bulging beneath a scarlet dress. Surprise! I was going to tell you after the honeymoon, Liam. But Thomas beat me to it. He appeared cocky. I tracked her down in New York. She confessed everything. Wyatt sighed. You used my ex to sabotage my brother? Sally asked, shrugging. Steffi approached Sheila. Payback for stealing my company ideas back in the day. And Liam was willing. You orchestrated this? Sheila asked, winking. I may have tipped Thomas off. Old habits. Finn dragged Sheila outside. You're going back to jail. But Sheila fled, cackling into the garden. The wedding was in chaos. Hope took off her veil. Liam begged. I can't do this. Not again. Hope, the baby changes nothing. We can raise it together. Like you raised Beth with lies, she yelled, alluding to the baby switch incident. Eric exhaled. Perhaps an annulment. Already married, the preacher said. Hope stormed out to the lawn, and the guests parted like the Red Sea. Brooke followed. Baby, wait. Thomas approached Liam from inside. Liam swung at him. You had your chance. Step aside. They tussled and knocked down vases. Ridge and Carter separated them. Steffi drew Thomas aside. Bro, this obsession will destroy you. It's love, he maintained. Outside, Hope sat beside the fountain, her clothes pooling around her. Paris soothed her. What now? Hope brushed away tears. I don't know. But I won't be anyone's second choice. Suddenly, a chopper buzzed overhead. A banner read, Hope marry me instead. Deacon Sharp, her biological father, an ex-con turned pizza magnate. He'd always remained in the background, attempting to bond. Brooke grumbled. Not him too. Deacon rappelled down, dramatically of course, and landed with a flourish. Kiddo, I couldn't let you tie yourself to that waffler forever. Hope half laughed, half cried. Dad. He embraced her. I have a chapel in Vegas. Let's go. No Spencers, no Forresters, just us. Appealing but not necessary. More revelations await after you return inside. Wyatt discovered texts on Liam's phone, including flirtations with Ivy. Overhearing, Ivy slapped him. After Australia? The family splintered. Eric declared a truce. Dinner. We talked this out like civilized people. However, the reception turned into a war council. Tables moaned with uneaten caviar. Champagne spilled like tears. Hope faced Sally. How far along? Liam overheard, legs trembling. 3 months. It's a boy. A son. Thomas extended help. If you let me in, I'll help raise him alongside his family. Hope shook her head. No, Thomas. Your assistance comes with conditions. Steffi, sensing an opportunity, whispered to Liam. Divorce her. Come back to me and Kelly. Liam broken contemplated it. Night fell. Ironically, fireworks scheduled for the happy couple lighted up the sky. Hope slipped away to the cliffs overlooking LA. Liam discovered her. I'm sorry. For everything. She turned around. Liam, I love you. But love isn't enough anymore. It's trust. He gave a wink. I know. I'll sign whatever. The baby. I'll be there for it. They exchanged platonic hugs, a farewell. But wait, there's another twist. Liam's father, Bill Spencer, came in a helicopter. Son, we need to chat. About the paternity. What's that? Bill stated that he had slept with Sally years ago after a failed business deal. Timing. The baby might be his. Sally confirmed, pallid. I didn't know who to tell. A DNA test is forthcoming. Hope laughed bitterly. This family. The weeks that followed blurred together. The marriage was annulled quietly. Hope focused on her line HFTF. Thomas returned to Paris, devastated yet determined. Liam spiraled and he sought therapy with Steffi's mother, Taylor Hayes. Steffi pursued Finn harder, leaving the family together. Sheila lurked, plotting. Sally raised the baby, bills confirmed, in Spectra style. What about Hope? Independent living brought her tranquility. A new man entered, Carter? Zend? But that is another story. The great surprise during the wedding was more than one betrayal. It was the dismantling of illusions, the revealing of weak facades in the realm of the brave and beautiful. However, in typical form, doors closed and others opened. Love, lies, and legacy are unending. Hope opened her eyes to see the warm glow of morning light coming through the gauzy curtains. The air seemed charged, electrified with anticipation. Today was the day she and Liam would stand in front of everyone they cared about and renew their vows to each other. However, this time it seemed different. Steadier, deeper, and a calm knowing in her heart that they were embarking on something new. She got out of bed and strolled to the window, gazing out at the skyline of Los Angeles, a city she knew so well but still felt like she was discovering. Palms swung in the breeze, as if conspiring with her joy. She remembered Liam's laugh, the way he had reached out for her when life seemed impossible, and how many times they had tried, undone, and tried again. They had faced unseen storms, overcome misunderstandings, and now they were here. The dress hung on the wardrobe door, ivory silk and lace, simple yet lovely, precisely like the hopeful simplicity she desired for their wedding. Hope Logan sighed, letting go of the past just enough to breathe in the present. She would go down the aisle not as the girl who feared commitment, but as a woman who understood the value of promise. As the seamstress made final adjustments in the dressing room, Hope's thoughts turned to their daughter Beth, who had asked earlier that morning if there would be confetti and a first dance like in the movies. That question had made Hope laugh. Yes, there would be confetti and a dance, because today warranted all of that and more. She imagined Liam in the room next door, fussing over his tie, inspecting the boutonniere, and smiling awkwardly as his best man clapped him on the shoulder. It was adorable, it was loving. When it came time to leave the house, Hope stood at the entrance for a while, looking at her reflection in the full-length mirror. Lovely, radiant, and ready. A small group of relatives and friends gathered in the garden. An exquisite arrangement of white roses and green vines, with miniature lanterns floating in the breezeway. The aroma of jasmine and new linen filled the air. Liam was standing at the altar, his expression filled with relief and eagerness. When their gazes met, the world faded away. She walked steadily toward him. The officiant began with a warm and caring voice. The guests were quiet. Hope's heartbeat echoed through her chest like a hymn. Liam's hand sought for hers, and she grasped it as if to anchor both of them. Vows were recited, and promises were renewed. When it came time to exchange rings, old yet polished symbols of second chances, Hope placed the band onto her finger with calm confidence. She stared at Liam, and a stillness fell over the audience, like the weight before a wave bursts. A surprise emerged from behind a vine drape, one that none of the attendees were expecting. The music stalled, the guests turned, and there stood Thomas. Yes, Thomas Forrester appears to be neither wicked nor broken, but rather real. Vulnerable. He carries a tiny package. He held it out with his hand, but his position was hesitant. Gasps sounded like scared birds. Liam tightened his hold. Hope's breath caught. For a time, the ceremony was in limbo. Thomas cleared his throat. He opened the box and found a single white orchid pinned on a ribbon. A simple gesture laced with years of desire, sorrow, and unspoken love. Silence. Hope's pulse raced. Liam's jaw tensed, and the guests shuffled uncomfortably. Hope took a small step back. Thomas raised his free hand softly. "I know I wasn't invited," he said quietly but steadily. "I understand this is not my place. But I couldn't let today pass without addressing how I felt, and what I had lost." He stared at Hope, not with rage or pleading but with grief and respect. "You and Liam have found your way back together. I see it. I congratulate you from the bottom of my heart." Hope's thoughts raced. She recalled her turbulent past. All the time she had hesitated, the ring she wore on a chain around her neck because she wasn't sure, the blunders and the hurt. Celeb dirty laundry +1. She saw Thomas as a reflection of her tale, not the antagonist, the point at which she had to decide what she actually wanted. She felt empathy, sympathy, and closure. Liam cleared his throat. He didn't disrupt the event. He let Thomas speak. He clasped Hope's hand to keep her from losing her footing. Thomas then turned to Liam. "Liam, I wish you deep and fruitful well," he said. "Thank you, Liam, for loving Hope in the way she deserves." He then placed the white orchid on a little table by the altar, took a step back, and quietly exited. The visitors quietly applauded, but the mood had transformed. Hope straightened herself and took a long breath. Liam lifted her hand to his lips, kissing the back of it. They returned to the officiant. The ritual resumed with words said and pledges made. They sealed it with a kiss, this time as a commitment rather than for the cameras or tradition. The celebrations that followed were incandescent. The ballroom had been transformed, with gentle peach and gold tones, string lights overhead like constellations, and waves of laughing. Beth made a toast, her eyes gleaming. To my mother and father, whose love is cooler than my cartoons, she remarked, and everyone cheered, and Hope felt tears well up. Liam stood alongside her, father to their daughter and life partner. They danced their first dance at a slower pace than intended because time appeared to slow down just for them. Music surrounded them, chatter filled the air, champagne flutes clinked, and for a brief moment, everything seemed perfect. But beyond the surface, Hope understood that Thomas's presence had triggered something, not only in him, but also in her. A knowledge that their love, specifically her love for Liam, was not granted or guaranteed. It has to be chosen multiple times. Later, Hope took a step back from the crowd to catch her breath under the lantern-lit terrace. Liam joined her. That surprised me, he stated simply, gesturing to where Thomas had sat for a time, quietly observing. Did it surprise you? She asked. He shakes his head. I needed to see how he felt in your decision. And you chose me. Hope gazed up at him, her face lit by the lantern light. I chose you, she said, meaning every word. Liam drew her in closer, embracing her firmly. Then let's make this one count, he said quietly. Hope grinned and leaned against him. We will.